What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Big Ditch Brewing Company, and they are out of Buffalo, New York, and this is their Afterburner. So they're calling this one an Imperial Hayburner IPA that comes in at 9% alcohol by volume, 16 IBUs at the time of review, and this can is exactly 2 weeks old. So Big Ditch has decided to brew an Imperial version of their flagship IPA, Hayburner. Now, if you're here in the Buffalo, New York area, you know all about Hayburner if you're a beer nerd. If not, picture a beer in a city that is well known and that is available pretty much everywhere. You can find it on tap at most restaurants. You can go to like gas stations and grocery stores and pick it up. It's a 7.2% like somewhat hazy IPA, but with some old school flair. And typically it's $12 or less for a 6-pack of 12 fluid ounce cans. It's a really good beer. I've reviewed it on the channel. I will post a link to the review somewhere in the corner here, maybe in the description box. We'll see if I even remember to do so. But I reviewed it, one of my first reviews on the channel. It's a beer I've had so many times before that I can't even, begin to count the amount of Hayburners I've drank in my life. But anyway, they've done a bunch of different variants and variations of this one, and they have finally done Imperial version. So the regular Hayburner, 7.2%, this is 9, and I'm pretty sure the hops are very similar. I looked on their website. I think this is brewed with Idaho 7, Falconer's Flight, Zeus, and Cascade. Now, I'm pretty sure that the regular Hayburner doesn't have Zeus, but also has Warrior and CTZ. So slight tweak on the hops, but for the most part, this is supposed to be just a bigger version of Hayburner, and I'm here for it. And now Hayburner, I would typically get like orange, melon, good bitterness, but still, some really nice like juicy flavors. There is batch variation with that beer, despite being like kind of a flagship. Sometimes it's very juicy, sometimes it's not. But I'm hoping this being as fresh as it is the first time they've released it in cans, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it's quite good. So throw this over here, and we have it in the hashtag proper glassware. It's at the Big Ditch Tiku. I love Tikus. Shout out to an on-tap friend of mine, John, Joker, who loves the Tikus just like me. And we definitely love Tikus. These are very fancy, but easy to break as well. Anyway, so what the hell am I talking about, Joe? I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Anyway, it has this nice, just like deeper orange color. Almost 2 fingers of this off-white, soap sudsy, but somewhat creamy looking head. Looks like a beautiful, somewhat hazy, pretty hazy actually. Hayburner is one of those hazy beers where they don't necessarily call it a hazy. They just call it American IPA, but it's definitely hazy. Looks nice. Murky, turbid, looks beautiful. Not much more to say about the look. Let's get a nose. So very akin to Hayburner. It has a lot of orange character. Sometimes I get blood orange in Hayburner. I'm kind of getting that here. It has like a little bit more of like a sweeter kind of like tart orange quality. But orange for sure. It's pithy, it's rindy, it's juicy. A little bit of grapefruit. Honeydew melon rind. I don't know if I necessarily always say that with Hayburner itself, but like more of a honeydew melon rind as opposed to like the flesh of a honeydew. But it also has this like distinct kind of like slightly resinous pine, floral, earthy thing going on. Slight dankness. But this kind of is like a hybrid of like an old school IPA or double IPA, Imperial IPA, and like a new school one. It has enough juiciness to say, hey, okay, that's new school, but then like that resinous pine, earthy, dank thing is kind of, old school. Can't smell the alcohol. This smells really good. Yeah, I want to get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, that's really nice. That's a really cool like tropical stone fruit kind of finish that I don't remember really getting in Hayburner too often. Let me go back. First off, 9%, no fucking way this is 9%. I can't tell on the palate. And the body's a little bit thinner for a 9% Imperial IPA. This drink's like straight up medium, maybe a touch over medium. So it's a little bit thinner than I anticipated, which actually works in its favor because it's 9%. And it's not bogging down the palate. It's actually lighter on its feet. And it makes it infinitely more drinkable, which is kind of scary. The mouthfeel kind of in that Hayburner range where it does have a mild to moderate carbonation, more approaching moderate, but it still has a smooth, creamy kind of sensation to it. Not really soft. That's where I think the mouthfeel is kind of more old school than new school. It's not like, super soft or anything. It has a good carbonation, but it is still smooth and creamy. So I think the body's actually, for an Imperial IPA, is probably more than a bit thin, but also works in its favor for me personally. I like that. And the mouthfeel is really nice and exactly what I thought it'd be. Another taste. So the first thing I'll notice with this one is up front is because of the bigger ABV, I'm getting a little bit more of the malt, but it has this like bready kind of crackery malt character, almost like akin to drinking. I say this a lot when I drink pale ales, like sub 6% pale ales, where you can tell it's a lower ABV beer because you do get like that malt character, whether it's grainy, biscuity, bready, crackery, whatever. Here it has a bready, crackery thing, hits me at the forefront, dives underneath the palate. But it doesn't hit me on the palate again. It just kind of stays with me. It's omnipresent, but the hop characters dominate, but this is underlying, but it's really appreciated. The taste, though, it's kind of Hayburner, just at a bigger ABV. Lots of complex orange, tangerine, dare I say Tangelo. So it has orange and grapefruit, blood orange, like a sweeter, tartar blood orange. Again, pithy, rindy, zesty, but also juicy. Again, Tangelo, so the hybrid of like a grapefruit and a tangerine. All that's the first half of the palate as far as the hop character goes. Midway through to maybe like 2/3 of the way through the palate, you get a little bit of that honeydew melon, and it's a little bit of a sweeter honeydew, but as it continues on through and finishes, it becomes more rindy, like the closer to the rind of a honeydew melon. And that kind of like tropical stone fruit thing I'm talking about, it's more like mango, not quite pineapple, but like mango, maybe even like trying to think. It's different. Maybe a little bit, I won't even say passion fruit, maybe like a guava. I don't know. It's something a little bit different that I can't exactly pinpoint, but it is a different characteristic fruitiness-wise. On the finish, it has like a slight resinous pine. It's more dank and earthy than like piney and resinous. It has a full-on dry finish. This is mild to moderately bitter, smack dab in the middle. So between the dryness, which is full-on, and the bitterness, which is right in the middle of mild to moderate, it really balances out all that sweet goodness you get from the malt that, kind of intertwines with the fruity hop characters. It makes you believe that it's a sweeter, kind of juicier citrus and honeydew melon, kind of, again, first, I'd say 2/3 of the palate. So it's a very well-balanced beer. I would say off of, these half dozen sips or so, if I could drink one can of either this or Hayburner, I would go with this. This, I think, has more of an oomph in terms of the flavor profile while still maintaining its drinkability for something 9% compared to Hayburner, which I could session, but I don't think is as flavorful. Makes sense. It's 1.8% higher in ABV. They probably used a lot more, malt and hops and whatnot. So it does make sense. Again, 9%, a little bit of a warming in the chest, on the palate, with that thinner body. I would guess, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't guess this is over 8% drinking it. Like, it's scary drinkable from that aspect. So, and also, before I pour the rest into it, look at that fucking glass lacing. What does that mean? I don't know. But it's fucking real cool to look at. Anyway, pour the rest of this in and we'll formulate a score. Now, when it comes to Hayburner, the score that I typically, I'm going to drink this out of the can. Just try. I don't usually do this. Like Alchemist maybe do it with fucking Heady Topper and Focal Banger, but I'm going to do it here. Out of the can, just drinking it like that, much more concentrated honeydew, that I think like guava kind of thing, or maybe lychee, something like that. And mango, like the citrus kind of takes a back seat. I don't know if I like that as much. It's definitely different. Anyway, go back for another one. Fuck it. While still maintaining that like kind of malt character as well. Anyway, this is really good. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say about this. This is really good. I always love when Big Ditch comes out with different variations of Hayburner. They've done Hayburner. They have Dayburner, which is like the session version. They've done Citra Burner with Citra hops. They've done Pineapple Burner. There's others I'm forgetting, but they do a lot of different ones. And I think this is one that they should keep in regular rotation. I think it's better than their base Hayburner, especially if you're somebody who just wants to, be one and done with a beer and drink something that's 9%. And it hides alcohol well. I think I really dig this one. Oh, I was going to go back to Hayburner. Hayburner, I typically will rate anywhere between like a 3.75 to like a 4.5. I know that sounds wild, but it does have batch variation. I've had some super juicy Hayburners that are close to 4.5, and I've had some that not as great at 3.75. They've seemed to dial it in more over the past year or two. However, this is really good. Plain and simple. So Afterburner, the Imperial Hayburner IPA from Big Ditch, I am going to give this, we'll go high 4.25, we'll go 4.35. This is fucking delicious. If you're in the Buffalo area, by the time I post this review, this beer will be about 3 weeks old. Go seek this one out. I know there's a bunch of different places that have gotten cans of this. I'm sure Consumers Beverages, one of the bigger places. The place I bought this was Brewed Bottled in Lewiston, New York. Shout out to Chris and the team over there, Kenny and everybody. He always gets his hands on beers quite fresh, and I was able to pick up a single of this. Just check the area if you're in Buffalo, and even in Rochester, West New York area in general, you'll be able to find this one. All right, price point and availability, and I like the label too. I do like the label. It's the Hayburner. What does he got? Like a rocket. In Afterburner, he's got like a jetpack on there. I think that's pretty fucking sweet, honestly. Anyway, if anybody from Big Ditch, Matt, or anybody who watches this, just keep up the good work with the brewery in general, but like this lineup, I've enjoyed the vast majority of them. Anyway, price point availability, $15.99 a 4-pack at the brewery. I paid $4.50 for that can at Brewed and Bottled, so a little bit more expensive buying a single. That's how it goes. Chris usually has very competitive pricing for most of his beers, and the fact that I'm able to buy a single is great. But $15.99 for a 4-pack of this all fucking day. This is another half beer. Some other high brewery, it's $22. So Big Ditch knows what they're doing price point. Availability is Big Ditch. I think they get outside of the area. I think in PA now, maybe Ohio. Check their website. They might have a beer finder, but they don't get too far. I mean, you'll probably see them in the surrounding states of New York State. But if you're in New York State, you should be able to get their stuff. Maybe not closer to New York City, but definitely upstate and through central and western New York. So I always say Big Ditch, one of the most consistent breweries in Buffalo, if not the most consistent, and I still stand by that. And this is a perfect example. New release from them, Imperial Hayburner, and they fucking nailed it. And I know this is a longer review, but beer like this that I really enjoy, I gave 4.35 to. I think it's fucking fantastic. You got to talk about it a little bit longer. And here we are. So if you've had this one before, post a comment section. If not, did you have Hayburner? If so, seek this one out. I'm going to shut this one down. Check back next Wednesday for another West New York Wednesday. Probably going to go back to Mortalis. I got 2 Mortalis beers now. So we'll see which one I review, because I just reviewed one last week, but kind of want to go back to their fruited sours because they've come out with a couple ones recently that sounded pretty good. I have a peanut butter and jelly demi hydra, and I also have their Skittles heavily fruited sour, the red, white, and blue one. We'll see which one I review. Till then, cheers.